Today we're going to learn about setting up global colors and global fonts in WordPress. Now my students have done this in Figma, and now we need, and I call it a style guide in Figma that I've had you create, but I'm going to need us to create it in WordPress. So what's going to work best is if you have two tabs open. You have your WordPress open and you have Figma open, and that we have some sort of color guide here. And so I'm going to open up this Figma page that has a style guide here, and I'm going to be coming back to this every so often. All right, but let's go back to WordPress. And if I'm going to set up these global fonts, this is where I'm generally going to be working on it. I'm not going to work on it in Elementor necessarily. What I am going to do is I'm going to go to Pages and click Pages, and I'm going to open up one of my pages in Elementor. So let's say Home Page, and I'm going to edit with Elementor. And it just takes a moment to load. All right, then I have this really ugly page in which I just lead students through putting in a couple random things with their first Elementor lesson, so we still have this kind of default junky page here. But it doesn't matter because we can still work on our global information. I'm going to click out of structure because I don't need it right now. All right, what I am going to do is I'm going to come up to the Elementor logo, and I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to select Site Settings. And it will bring up this new menu, and you see at the top we have global colors and global fonts. So this is where we're going to be working today. We're going to go to global colors first, and you'll see these are the default global colors for the theme that we have installed on this WordPress site. The theme is Inspiro, and these are the colors that come with it. But we can change these to our colors. So I go to my Figma page because I want to grab the hex code of the color that I want to use. So I'm going to come over here, and instead of this black, I'm going to paste in my color, and it's called primary here, but I'm going to change it to Lee Maroon. All right, let's get my secondary color, and I'm going to change this one and Lee Blue. Then let's get one. I'm going to get a light color here, so I'm going to get my white, and I'm going to use that for, I'm going to actually add a color here. I can change the text and the accent color. I'm just leaving them be for the moment because I want to show you that you can add a color here. And so I'm going to put in my Lee White, and I'm going to put it that I use this for text. I'll probably put my darker text under this one here. So I have a couple colors there. I'm going to save changes, and it's been updated. So I can go back to the editor. I could have clicked on the X that was up there as well. Now let's say I go to this heading, and I go to style, and I want to change the color. In the past, what we've done is we've used the pencil edit tool to change the color, but we're not going to do that once we have a global color. Now we're going to go to the globe for global color, and we're going to click on that, and then we can make the changes that we want there. And for that, actually, it's, you know what, I didn't change, I actually was clicking typography, which is changing the font. We actually haven't done our global font yet, so it took it to a default global font. Where I really want to be is text color. And this is where I'm going to click this global and say that I want this to be the Lee blue, and that that's what I want. And here, let's say I'm going to make, I come over here and let's say for, let's say I want to make this whole container, I want to give it a background color. Let me just go quickly to background type, and we're going to do a color. We're going to click global. Let's say I want everything to be this maroon behind it. Now I'm going to come to this text. I'm going to click this here, and under the text editor, I am going to say I want the text color to be, oh, I was going to put my white text. But I must not have saved it correctly because it is giving me the wrong color. Well, that's annoying. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just quickly save and publish, and I'm going to go back to my site settings and see what's going on, why it's not doing my white, why it has black there. I don't know, but I'm going to come back here and I am going to copy my white, put it in there. It's still not taking it. Come on. And it should take that. I think my internet is slow today, and so it's creating some problems because it is not listening. Not listening to what I want here. And you know, sometimes WordPress is cranky and not very nice, and I'm going to refresh is what I'm going to do. I'm going to refresh, reload, and hopefully now it will let me do what I want to do here. And it did not. This is strange. Just so you know, you could also like drag and drop, and that's actually pretty close to what I had. So that's FC, 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 and you know, it's pretty close. I had FD, but that's a pretty close color to what I had before. So you can also kind of drag and drop for your global color. Now we're going to save these changes, and we're going to go back to the editor. And what I want you to see is now, because I had selected this color using the global command, remember, so I was here, I had selected this particular one. It was called Lee White Text, even though it came up black at first. When I changed it in global colors, it changed this color here. And that's the amazing thing about global colors is, let's say you've created your whole website using colors that had been agreed upon with your client, but then you send it to your client and they look at it and they go, ugh, now that I see it all together, that's too dark, that's too light. Everything that was in that burgundy, it all needs to be darker. And so what you can do, instead of having to go to every container that has this burgundy or maroon and changing it manually, all you have to do is go into site settings, global colors, Lee maroon, and they want it a little bit darker. Okay, we'll make it darker. We can just do that, and that will change every iteration that you had for that color. So you don't have to do it all on your own. All right, I actually don't want to save that change there, so I'm not going to save it. We're just going to say, I do want to leave, just let me leave. We want to discard those changes. Okay, next we're going to go to global fonts, and we have a primary font, and if we come over here, let's say I have Zilla 40 medium, and maybe it's not my primary, that's going to be my secondary. So I'm just going to come into here, I'm going to select Zilla, and was it 40? I don't remember what it was. It was 40, yep, 40, and you can change the weight. That's how bold it is. You could also change the line height. If you, how the line height, I don't generally do that. How far apart the spacing between the letters are. And then we could also change word spacing. So you could decide on all of these elements, and let's say save changes. And then you would go ahead and you would enter all of your fonts here, and you could add new fonts as well. So let's go back here, and let's say I want to change this heading, and I want to make it like my primary. So I've clicked on the edit button. I go to style. Under typography, I'm going to go to globe for global, and I'm going to pick primary, and there it's changed. And again, if we've had used this font, made this font our primary font throughout the whole site, and you send it to your client, and your client says, you know what, I really don't like how those H's look after all, find a new font. You can do that. You can find a new font and choose a new font to be your primary font, and when you make that change, everything that's been selected as the primary font here, everything you've selected will change to the new font that you've created. And so it's important to have this basic style guide. It makes your workflow much easier in the future if you need to make changes. It should only take 5-10 minutes to set up for your colors and your fonts, but it will save you a lot of time in the future. And I cannot wait to see what you all create.